Most people rely on motivation like it's fuel. They think they need to feel fired up to act. But real gym legends know that motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you wake up ready to crush it, and other days you can barely crawl out of bed. That's where the real separator shows up. Discipline. The invisible, unshakable force that pushes you forward when motivation disappears without warning. The ones who achieve legendary status don't depend on feeling good to do what needs to be done. They don't need a cinematic playlist or a perfect pre-workout routine. They operate on discipline, not emotion, because emotions lie. They whisper, "You've earned a break," or "You can go tomorrow." But discipline doesn't negotiate, it just executes. It says, "Let's time, let's move." And that voice always wins when you train it. Discipline is a skill you sharpen every day. You don't wake up with it, you build it. Every time you show up to the gym when your body says no, every time you lift when you're tired, you gotta work hard. Every time you hit the workout instead of the snooze button, you strengthen your discipline. And the stronger it gets, the less you rely on fleeting feelings. That's what gym legends focus on. Not hype, but habits. Motivation is like a spark, but discipline is like a furnace. It burns consistently. It keeps going when the room is cold, when your life feels heavy, when progress feels slow. The ones who only train when they feel like it never lasts. But those who train through the boredom, through the exhaustion, through the mental fog, those are the ones still lifting years later, stronger and sharper than ever. There's a shift that happens when you stop looking for external push and start driving yourself from within. It's no longer about being excited to work out. It becomes about honoring the commitment you made to yourself. It's about integrity. You said you would train today, so you train. Not because it's fun, not because it's easy, but because you don't break promises to yourself anymore. You can spot the disciplined ones by their patterns. They don't skip Monday workouts. They don't need a partner to show up. They don't post every session for likes. Their accountability is internal. They've built a system so strong that missing the gym feels unnatural. It's not obsession, it's structure. And that structure is what separates the serious from the seasonal. When you track progress, don't just log weight and sets. Log the days you trained through fatigue. Log the days you stayed off social media distractions. Log the morning you rolled out of bed, even though every cell in your body begged you to sleep in. These are the real milestones. These are the data points that matter more than numbers on a scale or inches on your arms. Most people quit not because their bodies gave out, but because their minds weren't trained for discomfort. Discipline is what conditions the mind to thrive in discomfort. It tells you that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. So when the workout gets tough, you lean in instead of backing off. That's when growth happens. That's when your identity begins to evolve into something unbreakable. You'll start to notice something powerful. The more disciplined you become, the less you depend on willpower. It becomes automatic. The gym is no longer a decision. It's just part of your day, like eating or breathing. That's when you've truly leveled up. That's when fitness stops being a task and becomes a lifestyle carved into your identity. Real gym progress can't be measured by intensity alone. It's measured by repetition, by showing up, by stacking consistent effort day after day after day. Motivation might get you started, but only discipline keeps you in the game. And if you want to be a legend, you can't wait to feel ready. You have to train until readiness becomes irrelevant. You act, you move, you build. Most people focus only on the mirror. They judge their entire journey by how their body looks. The abs, the biceps, the pump. But gym legends look deeper. They focus on consistency over time, not just quick results. They understand that real change happens when the daily grind becomes part of who they are. They don't just train for summer, they train for life. They know that consistency compounds like interest in a savings account. The small deposits made daily eventually create massive returns. You can't measure consistency in a single workout. It's what you build across months and years. The legends understand that missing one session doesn't ruin your progress, but creating the habit of skipping absolutely will. That's why they don't let emotions or circumstances interrupt the pattern. Whether it's rain, traffic, work stress, or fatigue, they still find a way to move because they've built their lives around the gym, not the gym around their lives. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on your training, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you believe yourself to be. You're reinforcing the identity of someone who shows up. Not sometimes, not when it's easy, but always. That self-trust becomes the backbone of your mental and physical strength. People forget that muscle grows when you train it repeatedly. Your confidence grows the same way. The world chases instant gratification, but gym legends understand delayed rewards. They don't chase six-pack abs in 30 days. They're okay with the process taking longer because they know it lasts longer. They're not bouncing from program to program, diet to diet. They pick a path and walk it with discipline, giving it time to work. While others quit at week 3, they're just warming up. There's something sacred about being the person who always shows up. It's not flashy. No one gives you a trophy for being consistent. But over time, you become undeniable. People start asking what your secret is. But there's no secret. It's just discipline, repetition, and refusal to quit. While others burn out chasing shortcuts, you're quietly getting stronger in every way. When you start valuing consistency, your focus shifts from how fast can I get results to how long can I keep going. That's where the game changes because the body responds to patience. It rewards effort stacked daily, not frenzied bursts of motivation. You don't need a new workout plan every month. You need to execute the one you've got until it becomes second nature. The beauty of consistency is that it eliminates the need for hype. You no longer need to psych yourself up. The gym becomes part of your routine like brushing your teeth. It's just what you do. No drama, no debate. And in that quiet rhythm, greatness is built. Real gym legends aren't loud. Their results speak for them. And those results come from boring, repeated, unrelenting consistency. There will be days when you feel like it's not working. Days when the scale doesn't move, when the mirror looks the same, when the weight feels heavier than last week. Those are the days consistency proves its power. Because when others give up, you push forward. And when the breakthrough finally comes, work hard. It's not luck. It's the reward for your refusal to quit. You don't become a legend by what you do once in a while. You become one by what you do consistently. The gym doesn't reward intensity alone. It rewards repetition. It rewards those who show up tired, sore, stressed, but still willing. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often just consistency. Doing the work when no one's watching and when no one's clapping. When you track your progress, look beyond the numbers. Track your consistency. How many weeks have you trained without missing? How many days did you go even when life was chaotic? That's the real flex. Not just lifting heavy, but lifting often. Because muscles can fade, but the mindset you build through consistency, that lasts forever. That's what makes legends. Most people measure gym progress by the weight on the bar, but legends measure by the intensity behind every lift. They know that effort is not always visible to the eye, but it's always felt by the soul. A real gym legend just go through the motions. They squeeze every rep until it burns, until the muscles tremble, until the body screams for relief. That's where growth lies. Not in the comfort zone, but in the chaos of complete effort. Intensity isn't shouting or slamming weights for show. It's the laser focus that shuts out the world and locks in on the task. It's the internal war that says, I could stop at 8 reps, but the heart whispers, go for 12. It's chasing that extra second under tension, the slow negative, the perfect form. Legends understand that one set done with total intensity can outweigh 3 done half-heartedly. It's not about more. It's about more focus, more purpose, more pain tolerance. Tracking intensity as obvious as logging weight or reps. But gym legends know the signs. They know when a workout drained them not just physically, you got a heart, but mentally. They track how deep they dug, how far they pushed past their limit, and how long they stayed in that uncomfortable zone. That's why they're not impressed with easy PRs. They seek lifts that cost them everything and gave back even more. There's a difference between working out and training. Working out is activity, training is intention. Legends train. They come in with a plan, and every set has a purpose. When they step under the bar, they're not hoping for strength. They're claiming it. That kind of mindset builds momentum, and they track how often they reach that zone of maximum effort because they know progress lies there, not in randomness. The body adapts quickly to comfort. It's wired to protect to survive. But intensity sends a different message, one that forces change. When you consistently bring that fire, the body has no choice but to evolve. That's why legends don't chase perfection in reps, they chase intensity in execution. A slightly ugly rep with maximum effort will grow you more than a pretty rep done casually. They're not here to look pretty. They're here to dominate. Real gym legends aren't afraid of failure. They track it. They see failure sets as feedback. If they push to true muscle failure with clean form, they count that as success. It's not about always lifting more. It's about lifting smarter and harder. If they only completed 5 brutal reps instead of 10 lazy ones, they write that down because that's where the transformation happens. At the threshold of intensity, they also track mental intensity. Was the mind fully engaged? Did they stay focused the entire session? Legends don't let their phone steal their fire. They're not checking Instagram between sets. They're visualizing the next rep, the next set, the next battle. Their session is a war zone, not a social club. They know mental intensity is the spark that lights physical results. Intensity doesn't always mean going heavy. Sometimes it's slowing things down. Time under tension, tempo training, drop sets, supersets. All these tools create intensity without increasing weight. Legends understand that. They don't just load the bar and pray. They master the art of controlling the grind. They measure how deep go into fatigue, how much discomfort they can withstand. Because that's the real test. There's something powerful about pushing until your biceps stop and your mind says, keep going. Legends live in that space. They document those moments because those are the ones that separate them from the crowd. Anyone can lift when it's easy, but it takes a different breed to chase intensity on purpose, to live in the burn, to smile through the struggle and say, you gotta work. I'm just getting started. That's why when they reflect on their journey, they don't just look at their training log, they remember how it felt. The sets that broke them, the lifts that scared them, the sessions they barely survived but never quit. Those are the ones that carved their legend. Because it's not just about tracking numbers. It's about tracking the fire that built the warrior within. Most people walk into the gym without a real blueprint. They train whatever feels good, chase a pump, and go home hoping it was enough. But legends move with intention. They don't guess what to train. They plan it. They follow structured programs built to maximize progression, not just burn calories. These programs are like roadmaps, guiding them to measurable results with calculated volume, frequency, and intensity. Every movement has a reason. Every rep is a step forward, not just a placeholder. A real gym legend doesn't train by mood, they train by system. They have periodized workouts that evolve over weeks and months. They understand phases. Hypertrophy, strength, power, deload. They know that the body adapts, and to keep growing, the stimulus has to change. So they log every workout, track every set, and tweak every variable over time. That's what separates consistent growth from random guessing. It's science in action, discipline in motion. They track reps and sets, yes, but they also log tempo. You gotta work hard. They record how long they're taking during the eccentric and concentric parts of the lift. Slowing down a negative rep can completely change the intensity of a workout. Legends use this technique to shock the muscle, increase time under tension, and build size and strength efficiently. It's these fine-tuned details that the average gym gar overlooks, but that legends master. Training volume is another hidden gem they keep tabs on. It's not just about what exercises they're doing, it's how much total work they're stacking per muscle group per week. They count the tonnage lifted, the number of sets per muscle, and they make sure their program supports recovery while still pushing limits. Too little volume and growth stalls. Too much and injury creeps in. Legends know the sweet spot. and they stay there deliberately. Rest periods are also part of the blueprint. Some days they rest 30 seconds, others it's 2 minutes depending on the training goal. Strength days demand longer recovery between sets. Hypertrophy days require metabolic stress and shorter rests. Legends don't just lift heavy, they lift smart. They manipulate rest to trigger the desired response from the body. That's progress on a deeper level. Mobility and flexibility aren't skipped either. These aren't just warm-ups for them. They're tracked, practiced, and improved. They measure how deep they can squat, how freely their shoulders move, how well they can hinge at the hips. A tight body is a limited body. Legends prioritize mobility not because it's trendy, but because it's necessary for long-term gains and injury prevention. That's long game thinking in a short attention span world. Mind-muscle connection becomes part of the plan too. They don't just move the weight, they feel it. They focus on contraction form and control. Every curl, every press, every extension is executed with laser focus. This kind of precision can't happen by accident. It's trained, practiced, and improved upon like a skill. Legends take notes on what they felt, not just what they lifted. That kind of feedback leads to massive growth over time. Tracking energy and mood around workouts is also a secret tool. Was the lift strong? Did they feel drained? Was the pump insane or flat? This feedback loop tells them how well they're sleeping, eating, and recovering. It's all connected. Legends journal this information to make adjustments outside the gym that impact performance inside it. That's holistic tracking. Not just weights and sets, but everything that supports the engine. Deload weeks are built into their schedule. Legends don't grind blindly. They know when to back off, when to reset, and when to reload. They track how their joints feel, their CNS fatigue, their motivation levels. These breaks aren't weakness. They're part of the system. It's not just about pushing harder. It's about pushing smarter. The blueprint isn't a rigid script. It's a flexible, evolving strategy that maximizes longevity and results. Over time, all this data becomes gold. It paints a picture of what works and what doesn't. Patterns emerge, adjustments are made, and growth becomes predictable. Legends aren't surprised by their progress. They engineered it. They didn't just hope to get stronger. They followed a system that guaranteed it. And that's what separates those who train from those who transform. Most people think gym progress is all about numbers. How much weight you lifted, how many reps you squeezed out. But real gym legends go beyond that. They measure transformation in who they become, not just what they lift. They track character. Did they show up even when it rained, when they were tired, when no one was watching? That consistency becomes the real victory. It's the silent stat that separates the committed from the casual. Discipline becomes a metric. It's not recorded on a spreadsheet, but it's carved into their habits. Legends don't rely on motivation. They build systems that keep them going. They track how often they say yes to discipline and no to excuses. Every day they show up adds a layer to their mental toughness. Progress isn't just what they do with their body, it's how they shape their mind. And they know that every skipped shortcut adds to their long-term edge. Patience becomes part of the scoreboard. Most quit because they don't see results fast enough. Legends, they measure progress in years, not weeks. They trust the process, even when the mirror doesn't talk back. They understand that muscle isn't built overnight. It's forged through relentless repetition. When the scale doesn't move or the barbell stalls, they don't panic. They track how long they've stayed the course. And that alone becomes the proof of progress. They also evaluate how well they overcome setbacks. Injuries, plateaus, bad days. These are inevitable. But legends don't see them as dead ends. They see them as detours that test resolve. They log how quickly they bounce back, how creatively they pivot, and how hard they work during recovery. This kind of mental data becomes their superpower. Most fall off after failure. Legends rise higher because of it. Energy levels, sleep, and mindset are their daily check-ins. They notice how training affects their mood, how nutrition fuels their attitude, how rest powers their focus. The gym doesn't just build bodies, it recalibrates lives. Legends track the spillover. Are they more confident at work? Are they more patient with family? stronger in their decisions. That's real transformation, and it shows up far beyond the gym walls. Self-talk becomes another powerful tracker. They pay attention to what they say in the mirror, under the bar, during that last painful rep. Legends rewrite their internal dialogue. I can't to, I will. From, this is heavy, to, this is mine. They measure how often they silence doubt and feed belief. This is invisible progress. But it shows in the way they walk, train, and lead. Gratitude becomes a hidden metric. It may sound soft, but legends take note of what they're thankful for. Injury-free days, PRs hit, time in the gym, breath in their lungs. This mindset keeps them hungry, but humble. They don't just chase the next goal. They celebrate the grind they're in. That mental state keeps them consistent and happy, not bitter or burned out. Time under tension applies to the mind too. They learn how long they can stay focused, how long they can keep going under stress. Legends don't just build muscle, they build endurance, mental, emotional, and physical. They track how long they can stay uncomfortable, and with each stretch, they get stronger. This kind of growth isn't seen in the mirror but felt in their resilience. Every interaction becomes a reflection. Did they encourage the new guy? Did they leave the ego at the door? Did they lift others as they lifted themselves? Legends measure how they show up for the community around them. They become examples, not just performers. And that ripple effect becomes part of their progress. They don't just want to be strong. They want to inspire strength in others. Ultimately, they track legacy, not just stats, not just aesthetics, but who they're becoming. What are they known for in the gym? Hard work, integrity, dedication. Legends build reputations rep by rep. That's why they're different. That's why they're remembered, because they don't just train muscles. They train identity. And that's the kind of progress that never fades. Muscle fades, applause stops, but legacy, that's forever. Don't just aim to get big. Aim to get better in discipline, in mindset and grit. Start tracking your consistency, your character, your comeback after failure. That's how real gym legends are built. Not overnight, not by chance, but by tracking what truly matters and never backing down from it. People will limit you based on their own fears and failures. That's just the reality of life. Not everyone who speaks into your life is speaking from faith. Some are speaking from fear. Some are speaking from pain. And if you don't recognize the difference, you'll let their limitations become your beliefs. You'll start shrinking your dreams to fit inside their broken vision. You'll start adjusting your potential to make other people comfortable with your growth. But hear this, just because they can't see it doesn't mean you can't achieve it. When someone tells you that's not realistic, they're not defining your limits. They're revealing theirs. Maybe they tried and failed, and they're projecting that fear onto you. Maybe they were told they'd never make it, and now they're repeating the same words that crushed them. It's a cycle, but cycles can be broken. Just because someone didn't go after their dream means you shouldn't go after yours. Their story doesn't have to be your story. Their ending doesn't have to be your beginning. And many times, those people are close to you. It's not always your enemies who doubt you. It's your friends, your coworkers, even your family. That's what makes it hurt more. You expect opposition from the outside, but what do you do when it comes from the inside, from people you love? You've got to deciding, do I want their approval or my future? Do I want their comfort or my calling? You can't have both. You've got to protect your mind from their fear. You've got to build a wall around your vision. Not to shut people out, but to shut doubt down. Understand that fear disguises itself as advice. It sounds like, I just don't want you to get hurt. Or, I think you should have a backup plan. But deep down, what they're really saying is, I never had the courage to try. That's not your burden to carry. Don't take on someone else's fears and wear them like they're your own. Your journey will look different. Your path won't make sense to everyone, and that's okay. It's not supposed to. If it did, it wouldn't be yours. You have to become the kind of person who knows how to hear doubt and still believe. You've got to be able to stand in a room full of disbelief and still move like destiny is calling your name. Because the truth is, no one else has to see it. No one else has to believe it. Only you do. Only you need to be clear. Only you need to be committed. Because you're the one who's going to do the work. You're the one who's going to face the pressure. You're the one who will reap the reward. When people try to limit you, what they're really doing is asking you to make yourself smaller so they don't have to face their own reflection. Your boldness threatens their comfort. Your belief challenges their complacency. And instead of rising with you, many will try to pull you back to where they feel safe. That's not hate. It's fear. And you can't let fear make decisions for your future. You owe it to yourself to dream without limits. You owe it to the younger version of you who once believed anything was possible. You hard. You owe it to your future to silence the noise of opinions that were never meant to define you in the first place. Because you weren't born to repeat someone else's story. You were born to write your own. So when they speak limits over your life, don't get angry. Don't argue. Don't try to convince them. Just keep building. Keep believe going. Because one day your reality will speak so loud that their opinion will become irrelevant. Not because you proved them wrong, but because you proved yourself right. Listening to negative opinions kills dreams before they're even born. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process. Someone makes a small comment, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Another person laughs and says, "That's not really for people like us." You hear it once, then again and again. And eventually their voice becomes a whisper in your head that plays on repeating, "You can't do it. It won't work. Who do you think you are?" The most dangerous prison is not made of walls. It's made of words you believe. When you internalize someone else's disbelief, it begins to shape how you see yourself. You stop reaching. You stop trying. You stop dreaming. Why? Because the mind has accepted limits that were never true in the first place. It's like planting a seed in poisoned soil. It doesn't matter how much light or water you give it. It will never grow unless the soil is clean. Your mind is your soil. If it's filled with doubt, fear, and negativity from others, your dreams won't stand a chance. Think about how many people die with their potential still inside them. Not because they weren't capable, but because they listened to someone who said, "You're not." Someone who told them to be realistic, to play it safe, to think smaller. And instead of fighting for what was possible, they settled for what was acceptable. That's the danger of negative opinions. They rob you of the fight before the battle even starts. They talk you out of the game before you ever get on the field. The enemy doesn't always come wearing red horns. Sometimes it comes in the form of advice. People will speak from their own fear and dress it up as wisdom. That's risky. What if you fail? Nobody's done that before. What they're really saying is, "I'm scared, and I need you to be scared too." And if you don't guard your mind, you'll start calling that fear common sense. The world doesn't need more people who play small. The world needs people who rise up despite the noise. And to rise up, you have to be willing to disappoint some people. You have to be willing to walk away from conversations, environments, and even relationships that keep feeding your doubt. You have to learn to say, "That may be your opinion, but it's not my reality," because your dream is sacred. It's fragile in its early stages. That's why you don't need to tell everyone your vision, because not everyone will protect it. Some people are dream killers, and they don't even know it. They'll smile to your face while slowly dismantling your belief system with every word. You've got to recognize it and protect your space. Guard your energy like your life depends on it, because your future does. You need people who speak life into you, not death. You need voices around you that say, "You can't, not," because belief is contagious, and so is doubt. If you hang around people who don't believe in themselves, it won't be long before you stop believing in yourself too. But if you stay close to those who think big, who fight hard, who chase what's possible, you'll start rising just by being near them. So be intentional with your ears. What you allow and will show up in how you live. If you want to build a life of greatness, you cannot afford to give negative opinions a place to live in your mind. They don't pay rent and they don't build anything. All they do is destroy, a victim. Your life was meant to be a testimony, not a tragedy. Don't let someone's limited mindset bury your unlimited potential. What you believe matters more than what they say. So shut the door on their doubt and open the door to your destiny. Because the only opinion that should shape your reality is the one that comes from within. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. But the moment you start living for validation, you start dying to your purpose. Too many people wake up every day with their energy tied to approval. They dress a certain way, talk a certain way, live a certain way. Not because it's who they are, but because it's what they people want. That's not living. That's performing. It's not freedom. That's a prison. And the worst part is, it's a prison with no walls. It's built inside your mind, one opinion at a time. Living for the opinions of others is like chasing a moving target. Today they applaud you. Tomorrow they ignore you. One minute they lift you up. The next they tear you down. And if your worth is tied to their applause, you'll always be a slave to the noise. You'll never find peace because you've given people the power to control your emotions. You'll keep running in circles, trying to impress those who don't even understand the value of what you carry. There comes a time when you have to reclaim your identity. You have to stop asking for permission to be who you already are. You don't need the world to agree with your purpose. You just need the courage to live it. People don't have to understand your path for you to walk it. They don't have to like your dream for you to build it. And they definitely don't have to approve your growth for you to keep rising. Every great person in history had to walk through seasons of misunderstanding. They were laughed at, mocked, criticized, but they didn't fold. They didn't let small minds convince them to live a small life. They kept building, kept showing up. You kept trusting what was in them, even when no one else did. That's what it takes. You have to be so grounded in your identity that opinions bounce off of you. You got to work hard. You've got to believe in your purpose more than they believe in their doubt. Because here's the true thing, no matter what you do, someone's going to talk. Whether you win or lose, try or quit, grow or stay the same, someone will always have something to say. So you might as well give them something powerful to talk about. Stop shrinking to fit their version of who they think you should be. You weren't designed to live according to someone else's expectations. You were designed to live in alignment with your own divine calling. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your authenticity. It needs your voice, your vision, your unique perspective. But if you're always editing yourself to avoid judgment, you'll lose the very thing that makes you great. Your authenticity is your superpower. And the moment you stop hiding, the moment you stop apologizing for who you are, that's the moment you become unstoppable. You've got to be willing to be disliked in order to be free. That doesn't mean you walk around arrogant or rude. It means you stop compromising your truth just to keep other people comfortable. You start showing up fully, even if it makes others uncomfortable, because your purpose was never meant to be palatable to everyone. It was meant to be powerful. So make a decision. Are you going to live for likes, or are you going to live for legacy? Are you going to follow the crowd or follow your calling? It's one or the other. You can't do both. You've got to look in the mirror and say, this is who I am, and I refuse to shrink to make anyone else feel secure. Because at the end of the day, it won't be their opinion you regret. It'll be the opportunities you miss trying to please people who were never meant to guide your path. Choose boldness over approval. Choose purpose over popularity. Because when the applause fades and the lights go out, the only thing that will matter is whether you were true to the calling placed inside you.